It's time. It's the elimination final here at the Softball SA Finals Series. Welcome to the Diamond Sports Facility here in beautiful West Beach, South Australia. What a night we have for an elimination final. We have played 25 regular season games. We've experienced a statewide lockdown which halted play in the middle, makeup games, washed out games, lightning games, wind games, everything, and we're left to 4 teams. And tonight, we're gonna go down to 3. It's the Port Magpies versus the Hills Heat. Thank you so much for joining us wherever in the world you're watching, or however you're watching, whatever platform that may be. I'm Eric Ballnar, joined by 2 people with great softball experience. We've got longtime state coach Lee Hull and high performance and speed athletics coach Kathy Lambert. Lee, Kathy, thank you so much for joining me in this call tonight.
You're welcome, and it's the A team tonight because you've sat in the middle.
Perfect. That's what I love to hear, Lee. And you know, you and I talked a little bit about before this game. It's a really intriguing matchup because both teams finished 3rd and 4th, and they're both so close in the standings. Yes,
they've had about 5 games, I believe, and most of them have been equal except a couple of blowouts, and I think those 2 blowouts didn't count for anything, Eric. I think it's going to be a game of the pitchers tonight, myself.
And one of the pitchers you see on screen, she's Georgia Hood. She's an Australian national team player. And Kathy, I know you're very excited about watching the pitching matchup in this because it's 2 game-breaking players.
Yeah, most definitely. We've got the reigning 2020 Cath Coral medalist in Johanna Grauer, who's going to versing one of the favorites for the 2021 Cath Coral medalist, Georgia Hood. And these 2 girls, have led their team from start to finish through the whole season. So I think it's definitely going to be a battle of them, and I'm sure they're going to bring their extra A game tonight.
Here's how the Hills defense is going to line up. Lee, talk to me about this defensive unit first as you walk it through us and a couple key players that might be on this side.
Okay, so the battery is the Hood girls. Hills top Hood. George is pitching to her sister Amber. At first base, it's Alex Mackey. Second base, Tali La Rosa. Third is Peyton Daniels. In the hole at shortstop, it's Danny Perez. And the outfield left to right, Mackenzie Ween, Maddie Rocha, Abby Jorgensen. They have a designated player, that's Lauren Christensen, who will bat in the lineup for Mackenzie Ween. Now, a couple of players here. Kathy has mentioned Amber, Georgia. Big play there. Danny Perez and Peyton Daniels, I think they'll be brought in the game a bit. When you're facing somebody like Johanna, you need to put the ball on the deck, because you're not going to be hitting long balls all the time. Same thing in reverse when Hills back, when Port back.
So Hills will be the home team in this 7-inning game. They finished in 3rd place with 26 points. Just a couple points behind them with 23 points was Port Adelaide. They've been really close in every one of their games they've played this year. Not much between them. Each team has a superstar player that they are going head-to-head against each other. Let's talk about each of the teams here. Let's start with the 4th place Port Adelaide Magpies. And Kathy, this was a team that a lot of people thought could be a championship-winning team this year. They started off, they won 3 games in a row, but they've really kind of struggled in that last part of the year, and now they're getting their team back together.
Yeah, exactly. They did, if you want to call it a slump, if people want to call it a slump, there was a lot of inconsistency in their play, basically since about late December until probably around about mid-February. So, they had some coaching changes. Johanna was not available for every single game, so obviously they had some team lineup changes as well. So, they had to try a few things out. And, that's not always a bad thing because it gives other people an opportunity to step up. And we've seen some great new juniors come into the pitching circle and do some great things. So, but they pulled it together at the right time of the year, and that was evidenced by last week when they needed to win their games and beat Walkerville out of the 4th position.
Sturt and West Torrens finished top 2 in this play this season. But both of these teams have some pieces that they could potentially win a championship. So do you think Port Adelaide, if they win tonight, they can't lose tonight, they're out. Do you think they're a good enough side that they could potentially make a run at this thing?
Yeah, oh, definitely. We've been saying that for a couple of years. Obviously, this second year that Yo's been here, but this girl, these girls, these junior girls, are just getting better and better every time they come out for a game. And absolutely, I don't think there's any clear team that you can clearly sort of say that no one could beat them.
Lee, Hills, you told me last week you had 2 words to describe this Hills team, and it is real deal. They didn't even have a program 3 or 4 years ago. They've got a superstar in Georgia Hood, and they've got a lot of talent and pretty good defense behind them. Do you think this Hills team, and why do you think this Hills team can make a run at the championship?
I think they can because they have the players. They have all positions covered now. Georgia's pitching, with no disrespect for the previous pitchers while she was away on Australian duty. But I think they can, so it'll be very interesting who goes on from today, because there's only going to be one team that goes on today, tonight, and good luck to them. I think they can. As Kathy's thought about Port, the same. I personally think that the game could go extra innings here.
It could. It has all the makings of a really close contest, and that doesn't make it very enviable for the men in blue who are umpiring this game. I don't envy them to make these close calls. Lee, who do we got today?
Well, we have on plate Kevin Tannenbring. Now, he won the Viv Triplet Umpire of the Year award last season. Fantastic effort, known as Gilpy to the AFLAPY lands. He goes up there regularly every year. Fantastic umpire. Neville Lawrence, the treble Hoff. He's a Hall of Famer, Softball Australia, Hall of Fame in the International Softball Federation, and Hall of Fame Softball South Australia. Need I say more? And then we have Steve Wallace Yarrow, who's in charge of all the umpiring. So 3 excellent umpires, mate. We can't ask for more.
Georgia Hood delivering some of her final warm-up pitches. That's Jess Neves. She's the leadoff hitter for Port Adelaide. It's a Port Adelaide team that's going to have to figure out ways to generate offense against a very powerful pitcher, don't they?
Yeah, definitely, and they have got they've got some hitters in the top 10 in terms of the competition ladder. So we've got Taylor Chillingworth sitting at 5th in terms of statistics with a 4.11 batting average, and Gemma Letton at 375 sitting in 9th place.
And let's not forget Yo Grauer, who inserts back in the middle of the lineup after missing most of the year. She's the reigning MVP. So those 3 players that you just identified, Kathy, could be huge in trying to get to this woman in the circle in Georgia Hood.
Yeah, most definitely. So strap yourselves in. I think it's going to be quite an exciting ride tonight.
Well, there's a bit of a buzz in the air. It's elimination final day. 2 teams contending for a championship. High expectation. Georgia Hood has the ball, and she delivers the first pitch of the game, and Jess Neves fouls it off. I saw Jess Neves' numbers before, but she's a very effective player, earned her way onto the state team. She's got a little bit of speed and a lot of athleticism.
Yeah, she plays top-level soccer during the off-season. And and she's just such a good utility player, can play any position. We've seen her in outfield very, very comfortably, and I see that now she's back into second, where we were used to seeing her for so many years.
1-1 count coming to Jess Neves, someone that they call the Magician League.
Yes, she's what you need is a leadoff batter, small strike zone.
She just chops at that one. That's jammed over towards first base, and Alex Mackey, who takes that in, and that's an important first out just to kind of settle yourself into the game.
Yeah, it's always important to get that leadoff batter there. They're there for a reason. They've obviously got good stats and good ability to get on. So, you take that away from a team that's in the batting box, and that puts a bit back onto the batting side then.
It looked like the pace beater, didn't it, in that particular pitch? Just come under a bit quick.
And she came in a bit late, and it jammed up.
Yep.
Gemma Letton, the batter. You can see her numbers. She's really broke out this year. A 375 batting average for someone that is a very good athlete and can generate some speed from anywhere.
Yeah, and she plays baseball like a lot of the softball girls do, and I have had the pleasure of seeing her playing baseball, and she can play. Well, she can run. She has great leg speed.
Her attitude also a big complimenting factor. I know in baseball her nickname is Smiles.
Well, I've never seen her do anything but smile.
Don't know how much is going to be smiling at that one. That can't be fun to face, but there she is smiling away at a fastball that Georgia Hood just blew by her.
Yeah, it's a new position for her. I don't remember her so high in the batting lineup. So unless it's something that's missed over the last couple of weeks, yeah, it'll be interesting to see how she settles into this position.
Yes, it was a Roy Orbison pitch. It blew by you.
It's interesting. I mean, Sturt and West Torrens, they cemented themselves as the top 2 teams with some late runs and form. But both these teams have had inconsistencies in lineup. We really haven't seen the true teams of either of them in the last few weeks, have we?
Yeah, no, absolutely, because as I was saying before, Yo's been a little bit in and out. She's doing some work and living up in the Riverland, so that's, for those of you that aren't aware, it's about a 2 hours and 40-minute drive away. It's not like you could just pop down every day, and so she's been a little bit in and out, and then, of course, Georgia Hood we haven't seen. She had about 3 games off while she was over on Australian team duty. So, yeah, the lineups have been, there she is smiling again, but the lineups have been quite different every time we get out here.
And you talked about the Riverland where Yo is. This is where this girl came from.
Gemma,
yes, and she's living now in Adelaide. So, Chuckles, I think we'll rename her Chuckles, shall we?
she came down for school, and she's in a good battle with the Australian national team arm. She's fouled off. She just got her bat on one late on the last pitch, and that one she just slaps foul. So this is now an 8-pitch at bat, just trying to work the pitcher in Georgia Hood.
Yeah, she's doing a great job. And yeah, Lee, I hadn't picked up that she had moved to Adelaide until I noticed that she's at the softball specialist school, Seton High School. Oh, that's...
She chops that over towards second, and Talia La Rosa makes the play. Well, in finals softball, little mistakes make big differences in the game, and you're going to be hard-pressed to find a mistake from either of these teams. Port Adelaide, they're ranked first in fielding percentage. Hills have allowed the second least amount of runs, and they're third in fielding percentage. Both teams don't really make a lot of mistakes.
No, and the knockout finals are usually won by the people that make the least mistakes, you know. Just that crucial play at the end of the game or towards the end of the game. Just little things.
Well, here is this marquee matchup. It's Georgia Hood, maybe the favorite to win the Kath Coral medalist, won the MVP. She'll be in the top 3, you'd think, versus Yo Grauer, the reigning MVP. And she swings at this one, and Yo has a lot of power. She can hurt you with the bat. She can hurt you in the circle. And this is the matchup right here.
Yeah, right now. Yeah. And it'll be the same when they swap over and Yo pitches to George.
And Yo has, you know, a long history in softball at a very high level back in USA, but also when she was playing for Sweden. And look, I think this is where we're going to see her really shine at this end of season sort of post competition because she's so experienced at being in this place.
2-1 count. Georgia as competitive, as feisty as they come in the circle. Her one knock, you might say, is keeping the walks and those balls limited. And she's behind to a very good hitter. 2-1 count. And Yo Grauer, you can see when she turns on one.
And that's why their outfielders playing deep, the Green Machine, because this lady, respect for this lady batting now.
So a 2-2 count.
Look how deep right fielder Abby is.
So Abby Jorgensen out in right field, Maddie Rocher in center, Mackenzie Ween in left, all taking a couple steps back towards the fence. And this year we've seen a few balls go over the fence.
Yeah, most definitely. It's probably the most I've seen this year out of all the years I've been watching.
Watch the bat speed on Yo Grauer. She fouls that one away, and you need that high bat speed to greet that ball that just comes in so quick from Georgia Hood.
It's Grauer with power, isn't it? Pitching or hitting. Well, as I was saying, in the tight game, Eric and Kathy, play the percentages. Just do the little things right, like you mentioned. You can come away with a win.
A 2-2 count. This is grounded over to third. Peyton Daniels across the diamond. Alex Mackey brings it in, and it's a 1-2-3 inning for Georgia Hood in the Hills Heat to keep Port Adelaide off the board.
Yeah, and Hills Heat will be really stoked with that sort of start to the game. Top 3 batters there. and getting out really comfortably.
Good energy from both of these teams under a beautiful crescent moon. Is that what we call it here at Softball South Australia? It's the elimination final. Well, this will mean that Port Adelaide will take the field defensively right now, and they are led by Yo Grauer, who is about to make her way into the circle. She's the reigning Kath Coral medalist. She started off the season dominating, but then she was kind of in and out of the lineup. What a relief it must be to have her in the lineup. She's got some fantastic numbers when she's playing a full season. This is what she's done this year. She's still got 83 innings pitched. She's still got the ERA of 3.33. She's a pitcher that's really hard to face.
Yeah, those are great stats. And I was saying before, and look at the batting average against her, .170. But I was saying before, you know, she's been in this situation, postseason finals, you know, big games, so many times in her life. She won't be daunted by this situation at all.
And Lee, this defense behind her, it's the #1 in the competition in terms of fielding percentage. They don't make a lot of errors, but they've made a couple changes as we take a look at the defensive alignment for the Port Magpies.
Right, it's Johanna Grauer pitching to Taylor Chillingworth. Defending the dirt, it's Tash Straps at first, Jess Nevis at second, Charlize Callahan at third, and Gemma Letton plays in the hole at shortstop. And out on the green grass that's mown, it's Amelia Dolphin, Ella Forrester, and Megan Williams.
And the key one in that for you is Gemma Letton at shortstop.
Yes, I think so. I think it's a position, especially in softball, that's a bit foreign to her. So she'll, like Neve Adams for Sturt, takes a little while to get settled in there, but you've got to be settled tonight. Knockout final, mate.
I mean, she's certainly athletic enough to play the position.
She's quick. She can move laterally. It's what you need.
Georgia Hood leads things off versus Yo Grauer, and you can hear the knocking and the banging coming from the Hills dugout. They are bringing the heat tonight.
Well, I think they're excited as well. Very good there, Eric. Interesting, isn't it? Probably their best batter, their most powerful batter, batting at 1, and they've played that last few games, I think, so interesting.
You can see the numbers there, video game numbers with a 500 batting average and a 618 on-base percentage.
Yeah, she's been dominating with the bat and doing all that
powerful.
she needs to for her team, yeah.
Grauer falls behind early, 2-0. Grauer and Hood as pitchers are the similar sort of, I mean, extremely high upside, but this similar sort of drawback, it's the base on balls.
Yeah.
Grauer behind early to Hood, and it's a 4-pitch walk. Georgia Hood is the first base runner of the game, and she didn't have to do too much for that. She just had to stand there and take 4 pitches, and she's aboard.
Yeah, and that brings up Amber Hood, and you know, renowned for her leg speed, and you know, I'm sure she's in the second position here to do exactly what we would expect a second batter to do when someone is sitting on base. So I'm anticipating a bunt.
She shows bunt, but it goes down low, and with someone like Amber, I mean, you've coached her in terms of her running ability. How worried does the defense need to be that she might reach on a bunt?
Yeah, well, it just puts so much pressure on them because if it's a bunt that it's going to take a little time to get to. You know, when you get up and you have to make that absolutely perfect play, you know, that's not always easy to do. And we do have a little bit of a young side here in the Port Adelaide team, and you know how they handle these nerves and the importance of this game. You know, those are the times where we're going to see it.
Get to the ball quickly on the bunt.
First strike thrown of the game from Yo Grauer, and probably a relief because it now finally gets her into this ball game.
But that was the perfect pitch to bunt, wasn't it, really? Get to the top of the strike zone, put it down, let your sister run the second.
Look at the energy coming from the Hills Heat dugout. This one rides up high, Hood ducks down, it's a 3-1 count. Now what do you do? Because you think you're probably gonna get a pitch to hit. Do you try to advance it further than that, or do you stick with the bunt?
I'd go with the bunt.
Savvy move here from the young Taylor Chillingworth behind the plate to go down and try to calm her pitcher down, and both teams seem very relaxed. There's a bit of a hush comes over the ballpark.
Yeah, and I think that was a really good move, and interesting that it was sort of called by Taylor, not so much by anybody else. So good on her.
She's up for the fight, Taylor, for a young person.
Sure is. She's got a good head on her shoulder.
Hood takes the pitch. It's back-to-back walks to the Hood sisters. And very early on in this contest, the Hills have 2 runners on base.
Yeah, not a position that Port want to be in and wouldn't want to be in, but look, it's still early days, and as we keep going back to, Yo has lots of experience, and she would have been in this position many times before.
Do you think they'll bunt Lauren Christensen?
Lauren Christensen, someone that can hit the ball a long way.
Yeah.
And with a runner in scoring position, the job probably already done. It should score Georgia Hood a big base hit.
I'd go bunt, try and just get it to the left, to the Tash Strap. She's playing very deep here.
Swings through that. That one just breaks away from her, evens the count up at 1.
But that's Lauren's style, isn't it? Swing, it's fence or nothing, really.
And it's a moment where the fence would come in quite handy.
Well, it's a moment when you just shorten up and just try and make good contact. There's enough on the pitch.
This one
that helps.
Tipped away. It's going to be called a pass ball or a wild pitch.
Wild pitch.
So it's been a tough start for Yo Grauer, who is...
Yeah, Taylor's not that tall.
No.
Taylor was up. When she stands up, she's tall.
10 out of the first 11 pitches in this game have been for balls. 2-0 count.
Good catching.
This one goes away. It's going to be a 3-1 count. So 11 out of the first 13 pitches have been for balls. Very unlike Yo Grauer, who might walk a couple batters, but this is uncharacteristic. 3-1 count. Dangerous moment. Hitters count. Christensen watches that go by for a walk.
Can you believe this?
Yo Grauer has walked the bases loaded.
Yeah, absolutely not the start I was expecting. It'll be interesting to see where we go from here because we've got some really good batters coming up.
Peyton Daniels in the middle of the lineup, someone that's moved over to this Hills Heat side, being a key inclusion in the middle of the lineup. Watches that one ride up as well.
Well, it's all downhill here for the Heat, isn't it? They don't need to chase the first or second pitch. Just keep the pressure on. Lauren Christensen doesn't need to get a big lead. She'll get picked off there.
Bases loaded, none out. All have been walks. That nice,
terrific pitch.
Terrific off-speed changeup that dropped in there to put her in a great position. It's an 0-2 count.
Yeah, it was well disguised, wasn't it? No, I think nobody felt that was going to be happening until we actually saw it come out of her hand.
And a 3-pitch strikeout with bases loaded. It's like Yo Grauer had her back up against the wall, and she just decided to buckle down. 3 buckling pitches in a row.
No, they were impressive, and a little bit of variety within them as well. So we'll see what she can do from here if she continues it on.
Talia La Rosa is the batter. I think one you got to circle is the next batter, Danny Perez, who stands on deck. She's got 13 RBI on the season.
And Alex Mackey can bat following her.
Talia La Rosa playing second base today. See her numbers on screen, and now Grauer seems to have found the zone as she just races ahead.
Good point, Eric. She's in the zone now. It's going to be tough now.
Lots of noise being made from this Hills Heat dugout. It's fun to see. And now you got to start swinging at these because she's finding the strike zone in their off-speed pitches.
Well, they've got to get at least a run out of this, don't they? First 3 batters walk. You've got to get something.
You do, and you would think so, because I don't anticipate there's going to be a lot of runs scored in this game. So, one could be the difference.
And another off-speed pitch drops in. Back-to-back strikeouts for Yo Grauer with bases loaded. So she walks them loaded, strikes out the next 2, and now it's 2 outs. Any out will do.
It's going to be ironic if she strikes out the next one. 3 base on balls full of balls. Who would have thought that?
Well, Danny Perez, she's only hitting 255, but the thing is, she's got 12 hits and she's got 15 RBI. She's clutch. She comes through, and runners have been on all season long. This slips away, and what a break that was. That got by the catcher. I think it hit the umpire.
It hit the umpire, and he kept it in play. So that's a lucky bit then, I think, because that would have been a run, I think.
Most definitely. I mean, Taylor's quick to get out, to get back there, but Georgia was fairly quick as well. So it would have been a good tussle.
1-0 count. Hills can't let this opportunity go to waste. And Danny Perez has worked herself into a very favorable hitting position.
Well, Megan Williams is out at right field. She's far too deep for Danny. Off this pitch off Yo, she's not going to hit the ball that long. She needs to be in and catch the ball. She's coming in now. You need to be in to catch that ball that just drops in the scores, 1 if not 2.
2-1 count. Grauer started the inning by walking the first 3. She struck out the next 2. Can't get more of a jam than this. And now she's 1 strike away from getting out of the inning.
Danny's just got to keep her head still and just try and make contact here.
You're right. Let the
test the field out. Sorry.
Let the speed of the pitcher take the ball just over the infield. That's all she needs.
2-2 count. That slips away, and it's going to score a run. Port Adelaide put themselves in trouble in 1 mistake, and Hills strike first. It's 1-0.
And just looking at the replay here again, yep, that's just kind of got a wide tip out of from Taylor's hand. She didn't really move her body behind that, just kind of stuck her hand at it, and it unfortunately didn't pay off for her.
And it doesn't matter in the end, because even though it was a pass ball, it was a walk with the bases loaded, which would have ended up scoring a run regardless. So it is the 4th walk of the inning. And Alex Mackey comes up to bat with them loaded as well. And another player that has a few RBIs to her name.
Yeah, it just goes deep in this lineup.
She swings at the first pitch. I like that.
Yeah, she got very jammed up by that pitch from Yo.
Hands slow then, weren't they? They were slow. She should throw this off-pace pitch again. I reckon it was a cracker, wasn't it? That one you mentioned, Eric?
Yeah, she disguises it so well.
Yeah, it's just got everybody.
Oh, there it is.
There it was. Mackey puts it in play. Off Grauer's hand. Throw across the diamond. It's Letton to Straps. They walk the bases loaded with nobody out, but Hills can only score 1. We're well and truly underway in this elimination final. It is 1-0 Hills after 1. We'll see you after the break. Back here at Softball South Australia for the elimination final of the Premier League competition. Boy, oh boy, did Hills have an opportunity. They only could score 1 run. Now Port Adelaide will go back to work, but they're chasing a run in this 7-inning game. Leading things off is Taylor Chillingworth. Lee, what a great season this young woman has had.
Terrific young player she is, and she's only going to get better and better with experience and time. She played most of the season at shortstop. Terrific player there, along with Charlize at third. But she's had to come in because of the unfortunate injury to the catcher, Cara Tilton. So, no, she can hit the ball.
Yeah.
Aggressive.
Yeah, sorry, Lee. And yes, from a stats point of view, from a hitting perspective, in the top 10, she ranks 5th behind some absolutely high-caliber players. Maddie Cameron, Georgia Hood, Belinda White, Jordan Harris, Taylor Chillingworth. So she's in really good company there.
Speaks for itself.
Can't get much better, but she does strike out, unfortunately, on this one.
The curse. RBIs, Belinda White, number 1, Maddie Cameron, Jordan Harris, then Taylor Chillingworth. So for somebody so young, up against that sort of caliber, she's got a super future ahead of her.
Ella Forster, another young player, and she's batting 5th in a finals game. She swings to this one. Both teams similar stories. I mean, in 2016, Port Adelaide didn't win a game all season long. At one stage, it was something like 390 days.
Yeah, it was a long time between drinks.
And they reworked their program, put a lot of faith in some of their younger juniors, your players like Taylor Chillingworth, like Ella Forster, Charlize Callahan, brought back players like Megan Williams, and then they always centered around a great import. And now they're threatening for a title. Yeah. A lot of faith put in the young players.
Absolutely, and they will be for years to come. These girls are still so young. Oh, that's a great pitch. Caught her reaching for that, but obviously a change of speed as well.
2 straight strikeouts from Georgia Hood.
Yeah, Port Adelaide invested over the last few years in bringing in experienced pitchers from the American college system who don't just come and pitch for these teams, but they also invest their time in coaching juniors, and that's one of the benefits of having them here as well. So and Port Adelaide's obviously benefited from that over the last few years with there's been many.
Katie Sutherland Finch.
Yeah, Katie Sutherland.
Vicky McFarland.
Yeah.
A lot of experience shed to these. The middle of the lineup, Chillingworth, Forster, and now Charlize Callahan batting.
Yeah, Megan Williams bats after, and Tash Straps. Both of them can hit.
This one chopped down the line. That goes foul. Interestingly enough, Hills didn't win a game in 2016 either because they didn't have a team. They were a newly formed team in the competition a few years ago and centered around a lot of the young talent that is being developed up in the Adelaide Hills. And now both these teams, the winner tonight is going to have a chance to really contend for a championship. It's 2 teams that have been on the rise, but only one of them is going to break through the door as it's Georgia Hood strikes out the side. She is dialed in, the Team Australia player.
Wow, that is an impressive inning. And particularly, again, against, good batters. They've got good stats. Hills will be really pumped up about that, going back into the batting box.
Well, we did think it would be a battle of the pitchers tonight, and it's turned out that way so far.
Well, no hits so far in the game. There's been 4 walks on one side. The passed ball did catch them a run as Taylor Chillingworth goes back out there. And Lee, you mentioned in that last half inning that the Port's regular catcher is out of action for this game. That has to be a big factor going into a finals run too.
Yeah, because
Not just out for the game.
Yeah,
but
Cara Tilton, she really got hold of it, and she was really good. And Johanna was terrific pitching to her. They had many strikeouts between them, and it's a big factor. But Chili's doing the best she can do, and you just have to make adjustments, and somebody has to put their hand up, ask who's going to do it. Chili said, I will.
It's probably what you want from your young leader on your team.
Yeah, definitely, and she's done such a great job at it. And let's not forget, I think last year she was an outfielder, so she's a great utility player in developing. And I've seen her pitch as well in the fully loaded competition. So keeping all of her options open at the moment as a youngster.
Abby Jorgensen steps in and takes one on the first pitch. She's
point to the elbow, it looked like.
Yeah, it's the control is a bit of an issue right now for Yo Grauer.
Just having a look at that again.
That is called the funny bone, but unlike Gemma, she's not laughing.
The big one for Yo Grauer is 83 innings pitched, and she's had a lot of strikeouts this season, but she's also had a lot of walks, 86 walks in those 83 innings. So she does walk a batter an inning, but she also strikes out over a batter per inning too. She's got a lot of pace, doesn't she?
She does.
Now it's Maddie Rocha, second pitch bunt, surely.
Why second pitch, Lee?
Well, first pitch you would throw it up or away because you know they're trying to bunt. Because she throws it down the middle.
Or down the middle.
Well, that's what. But normally, top gun pitchers will throw it up away from.
You're right.
You get Steph Straczynski thrown to. You won't get some fat first pitch.
But do you think at this level, though, Lee, like these coaches, I mean, they're not, the standard ball, junior level. You're going for the first pitch for the bunt. Like at this level, surely we're going to be the coach is going to be looking to be a little more cagey and not do exactly what you're expected. So I don't know if pitching up at the first is going to catch anybody out.
Catches a lot of people out by the catcher, actually.
Bunt is laid down.
Seen it this year, they just pop it straight up in the air.
Yeah.
Or they try this funny running bunt, and it just goes foul anyways.
Yeah.
Just do the basic. That's why it's called sacrifice bunt. Sacrifice yourself.
1-2 count. You'd think the bunt would be out of the question with 2 strikes, and it is. It's just kind of a slap that goes off the bat and then off the helmet of Taylor Chillingworth.
Time to throw the changeup right now.
Grauer has that fastball, rise ball. She's got that changeup, which you saw the devastation it can cause in the last inning. 5 walked batters, though, and 3 outs to her name, unfortunately. And this one is hit up the middle. It's the first hit of the game. Gritty at bat from Maddie Rocher, and for the second inning in a row, the 2 first batters are aboard. And how's this energy from this Hills Heat team?
They've definitely come to play softball, haven't they? They're fired up. They're a lot of energy from there. Here we go. Just looking at the replay here. That's a great hit.
Yep.
And the reason that was huge is because it puts runners on first and second, and it puts this woman in the batter's box.
And it's the number 9 hitter that gets that. Don't you love that? When you
8 and 9 get on base, and now you have Georgia Hood and Amber Hood up to bat with runners in scoring position. Hills need to do some damage here, and you can see that bat speed and that nice long swing from Georgia Hood. Lee, you've always said that Georgia's gonna make this as a hitter.
Yeah, she will. She will make it as a hitter if she hasn't already. But she will not be going bunt or anything short here. It's going to be full throttle.
Grauer, an NCAA pitcher, as a nice jump from Abby Jorgensen. She wanted to maybe test the arm of Taylor Chillingsworth.
Yeah,
she doesn't try anything at all. Now it's runners on the corners.
That's right. That's what they did. Yep.
Here's the leading team's replay. You like that jump, Kathy?
Well, Abby's been fast from the day I met her, which was many years ago in the speed program. And yeah, you've got to take those advantages when you've got someone like her on the base.
Oh.
Good stop from Chillingworth, but it is a free base for Maddie Rocher, and it's 2 runners in scoring position for Georgia Hood, the Olympic hopeful.
I'll tell you what, they've got pace on base with these 2 girls, and if Georgia can land it out in the green, 2 runs will score.
Hood, first Grauer. Hood hits it hard, over to short, play at home. Chillingworth tags her out. Excellent play from Gemma Letton at shortstop. Gets it to Taylor Chillingworth, and that's a huge out.
That absolutely is, and what a great heads-up play. Just looking at the replay here, she did not even hesitate to think of going anywhere but home. What a fantastic play between those 2 youngsters, and for Taylor to hang on to that and get that out.
Well, how's this? I mean, we talked about the changes needed because of the injury to the regular Port Adelaide catcher. Chillingworth and Callahan normally occupy the left side of the infield. Chillingworth has to move to catcher. Gemma Letton has to come and play shortstop. Those are the 2 players playing out of position that just teamed up on that play lead.
It was fantastic. I was surprised the runner was going, though.
Yeah, well, I guess they were just going to, test it out. But you're right, it probably was one of those situations you probably could have just held up and kind of had a look. But maybe they just wanted to test out the pressure on the field and see what happens.
Runners on first and third for Amber Hood, and she's quickly behind 0-2. Hills, another big opportunity. They have to get multiple runs. You'd think being able to get runners on base early. 3 left on base in the first inning. Grauer walked the first 3 batters of the game, and they only scored 1 run.
Well, the green team's had 7 people on base so far. It's a lot of people, isn't it, for 1 run so far?
And
it can change
in the second inning.
Yep. It can change with a hit from Amber.
But only 1 run scored. And Each woman taking their time tonight.
They know this is such a crucial time in the game and a crucial opportunity by Hills, but also, you know, Port wanting to not allow any breakthrough here. So, yeah, I'm sure there's a few nerves and a few tense moments going on by the players at the moment.
Amber Hood, a fantastic season, a leader on this team. Watches that rise up, runner going to second. Georgia Hood stands up. 2 runners in scoring position. I like this aggressive play from the Hills. I know they got called out at home, but you have to be aggressive to win games.
Tight games especially.
And a big strikeout. Amber Hood not happy about it, but it's gonna go down as a strikeout. It's Grauer's 3rd of the day. All of them have been looking.
Yeah, and what a crucial time and a big batter to get. So that'll hopefully put some little bit of momentum back into Port Adelaide's side for the moment. But you know, still a dangerous batter coming up now with still 2 people on base.
Lauren Christensen. She walked her last at bat. Grauer and the Port Magpies have got themselves into some sticky situations, but gee whiz.
Boy, she wanted to swing. She wants to hit this ball.
Cagey.
I'm impressed with her holding the bat still.
Yeah, she's someone that likes to hit that
Yes.
softball, sorry.
Yeah.
You've worked that out pretty well.
Christensen right through that one, and Grauer is again 1 strike away from getting out of a prickly situation. A changeup that was ridiculously off speed. I don't think she went through. She dropped the bat. No swing called, but
I was going to say, I don't know what that rule is about. If you drop the bat, is it a swing? Or does it have to actually be a swing then a drop? I don't know.
talk about getting someone off balance.
I tell you, this pitch is going to have some heat on it, this one.
2-2 count. Christensen stays alive.
It's got to be the name of the song, isn't it?
There's her
Staying
going
Alive.
through. Yeah, I mean, I think she was just trying to bring the bat back, and it just fell out of her hands. You did see she stopped, though. Here it is.
She's got a lot of foot movement in the batting box. You can see she does a couple of little
And a lot of movement with the bat, too.
Great look at that on the leading team's replay, thanks to Spacequake Sports. This one rides up high, and
Good discipline here.
it's a 3-2 count.
Lucy throw the changeup.
Full count, 2 outs. Runners will go on this pitch.
What do you think, Eric? Change up here.
Tries to go quick.
She seems to be getting the bat on ball and the quicker stuff here.
She does.
Good at bat.
Yeah, good at that.
Getting the money's
Absolutely.
worth.
Absolutely.
You can feel how important this moment is in the ballgame. I know it's only the 2nd inning. 2 in scoring position. They got on with no out. Hills need some runs. And this is chopped back to Grauer. Throw to first. And they're out of another jam. Hills can't bring anyone across. It remains 1-0. We've played 2. We will see you in the 3rd. Welcome back. It's the top of the third inning, an elimination final now. How this works, the top two teams in the competition, Sturt and West Torrens, they'll play on Saturday night. The winner straight to the grand final. The loser will play the winner of this game in the preliminary final. So if you're watching from North America, this is the equivalent of a quarterfinal, let's call it. The loser eliminated, winner goes on to play those two teams. But man, the Hills Heat, they have been knocking on the door. Only 1 run scored so far. Port Adelaide, they've been 6 up, 6 down.
Yeah, absolutely, and we just had a look at the first 2 innings, and Hills Heat have had 12 batters come up to the batting box, and Port Adelaide only 6. So that kind of just shows you, and the fact there's only a 1-0 game, yeah, just sort of gives you an indication of how tight it is with the pitchers at the moment.
Georgia Hood struck out the side in her last time up. Or last time in the circle, I should say. This is Megan Williams. She's one of the first players that moved back to Port Adelaide when they started reforming this program after a winless season, and has quickly cemented herself as one of the leaders on this team. Very versatile. Plays infield, plays outfield.
Yeah, over the years I've seen her at short. Recently I've seen her at second, and then more recently, of course, she's out now in right field.
Made it 9-3 in the last game, I think. But it won't be against Sturt if Maddie Cameron's batting, because he won't be in that close, I wouldn't think.
That was a nice pitch there. Lower part of the zone there.
Megan having to think about that one too.
Very experienced player, Megan Williams, isn't she?
Yeah, she is, and really solid as well.
Yep.
You never kind of watch her and think, oh, she's just not on today. Like she's always a really solid contributor to her team.
Well, this pitcher to catcher combination is a pair of sisters, the leaders of this Hills team. Williams bat on ball, this one to the outfield, and Maddie Rocher moves in and makes the play.
Yeah, came in really comfortably, spotted that off the ball really quickly, and covered that ground, and just ended up taking it quite comfortably.
Handy having leg speed in the outfield, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
Tash Straps, the next batswoman.
Good all-round player. We've seen Tash for many, many years of playing at a really high level.
State team.
Yeah, one of the players I think James Harris had sort of identified as has represented every state team for South Australia in terms of age groups.
So junior level, senior level, everything.
Yeah.
A decent option as a pitcher if required, and she's gonna get one to slide through the infield. There won't be a play from Abby Jorgensen in right field, and Tash Straps with the first hit off Georgia Hood.
Yeah, and Tash Straps, she's again a really solid and experienced contributor, even though, she is so young. She's just been playing good soccer for a long time, and really well known for her batting.
And she's someone that's played in big games before that you'd think a lot of these younger players will have to look for.
Yeah, she's a team leader and a role model for these youngsters.
Saw Tash Straps walking into the ballpark today, and all she said was, it's going to be close.
Well, so far, she's spot on the money.
Amelia Dolphin rounding out the batting lineup. And then we'll turn it back over to the top with Jess Neves, another younger player on the team.
Yeah, and another one that's kind of in that same age group as the others we were talking about earlier. Nice one. Gemma Letton, Taylor Chillingworth, Charlize Callahan. They've all come through the program together, and they're just getting stronger every year.
She's the beneficiary of Cara Tilton being out of the lineup as one of the bench players, the role players on the team, now has to become a regular.
Yes.
Rides up. 1-2 count. First base runner of the day for Port Adelaide. And she swings through that one. It's strikeout number 4 for Georgia Hood. So we've seen every batswoman for Port Adelaide so far, and 4 of them have been strikeouts, only 1 hit and a series of groundouts to start the first inning. No real threat yet.
No. Hills will be feeling still fairly comfortable. You know, I think the momentum of the game is still in their favor, you know, particularly because of the amount of people that they've been able to get on base and the performance by their team for the first 2 innings here with 3 up, 3 down.
Jess Neves back at the dish. She got jammed on her first at bat in a ball that popped over to Georgia Hood in foul, or it's Alex Mackey, sorry, in foul territory. She doesn't strike out that often.
No, pitching very carefully to the #1 hitter, isn't she, George?
You have to, knowing behind her is Gemma Letton and Yo Grauer.
Yep.
And then Taylor Chillingworth. This 1, 2, 3, 4 is where the damage you'd think would get done for Port Adelaide.
But lead-off hitter, don't you love it? Patient batting. Chasing nothing but the strike zone she has. It's only small, but she takes advantage of it. Stays out of the high stuff normally.
They call her the magician because she creates something out of nothing, and she went through that one.
A little bit of self-defense, but
It looked like she was trying to evade it.
I think so, but
It was abandoned ship for a moment.
She moved the bat with her body rather than just move her body and leave the bat behind.
There's a lot of deception that's created from that speed of Georgia Hood. This one just toppled, and it's an easy out. Georgia Hood to Alex Mackey, and that is a fairly safe inning again. And Port Adelaide just haven't been able to seem to get much off of the arm of Georgia Hood, have they?
No, not at this stage. So they're gonna either have to rely on Georgia fatiguing. I've not ever seen that, but you know, maybe it might happen. Who knows? Or maybe looking at doing something a little bit different. You know, just standing in there and hoping that she might walk her. I'm not sure.
But they're only chasing 1 run, so you know, plenty of time, isn't there?
Correct.
Well, if you're just joining us, Yo Grauer has walked 5 batters in this game. In fact, she walked the first 3 batters of the game. She went strikeout, strikeout. It was a wild pitch that scored the only run, but they loaded the bases in the first inning. They only scored 1 run, and then they got the first 2 aboard in the second inning, and they couldn't score any runs. You got to wonder, how many more chances are they going to get against Yo Grauer?
Well, yes, I think she's settling pretty well now, so it's going to be tough, but just keep making these chances, you know, just give yourself a chance to run, be a bit adventuresome, but only leading by 1, you just still got to play careful as well.
And you just also got to just keep that in the back of your mind, like you were saying, Lee. This is a game of 1 batter at a time, 1 batter at a time, 1 batter at a time. You've got to set up your plays to chase 1 run at a time, but essentially even going back from that, how do we get someone on? Okay, how do we advance that person?
Don't look too far ahead.
Correct.
Just deal with the moment.
Peyton Daniels gets a good swing on that one. She is 0 for 1 with a strikeout on the day.
Yeah, I like her swing. I like, for again, another really young player. Like, she's got a really nice, mechanically, a really nice swing.
Illinois she comes from originally, I believe.
Nice part of the world.
Yep. One of the best places I've been there, I think, Chicago. No, I wouldn't like to live there, but just the buildings and that, it's an impressive place.
Yeah, absolutely one of my favorite places to visit. We went and watched the Aussie Spirit play there last year, well, 2019, but nobody did anything last year.
No.
But in 2019, and just such a beautiful part of the world.
Maybe in a couple of years we can get back to these places, hopefully.
I hope so.
And for now, you've got world-class softball right here in South Australia. Many Olympic caliber players play in this competition, and a lot of rising stars. Yo Grauer, the pitcher, throws the changeup and just drops a bit short. She played very high-level college softball over in NCAA with UCLA.
She played for UCLA, and I believe she also represented the Australian junior team, American USA junior team.
High caliber. That one just blows by Taylor Chillingworth, and it's A second ball on Peyton Daniels, who's having a bit more patient at bat than her 3-pitch strikeout last time up.
Yeah, the A team tonight is cosmopolitan, isn't it? One American, one Canadian, new now to an Australian.
New Australian, thank you very much.
One dinky die Aussie.
And I just to say, I also got the Australian citizenship.
Oh, what a hit from Peyton Daniels. That one's gonna rumble up close to the wall, and Peyton Daniels has 2, she's thinking 3, and she's gonna get there easily.
Best hit of the night, isn't it, so far?
That was
cracker.
solid. And well, cut right between the 8-9 players out there. Can you see it again? Beautiful.
Just hangs over the plate a bit, finds the gap perfectly between Ella Forster and Megan Williams. What's nice about that swing?
Level swing, wasn't it? A level swing, just pure technique then.
Third straight inning that the leadoff hitter is aboard.
And she's aboard at third.
And she's aboard at third. Peyton Daniels, what an adjustment she made versus the reigning Cap Coral medalist. And once again, Hills are threatening.
They're threatening big time here.
Leadoff batter on, no outs, and yeah, somebody on third. That's a dangerous place to be.
Talia La Rosa.
I was just going to say, Johanna's got to keep the ball out of the dirt here. Don't want another one walking home.
Yeah, that's how they've scored their only run, believe it or not. Despite having bases loaded on numerous times, it's been off a pass ball.
Yeah, that's exactly right. So it's really important to keep it up here.
La Rosa gets a hold of this one, and it's just popped straight up in the air, and that goes foul. It's 2 strikes. Grauer with 3 strikeouts already on the day.
Yes, the last game she played, I think she had 7 base on balls, gave up 7 base on balls and 2 K2s only, but still won the game. They won the game impressively. So you can't always go by things like that, can you, in a game?
This one hit right over to first. It's called fair, and it's a run for Hills. And making a dash for second is Talia La Rosa, who's driven in the second run of the game.
Well, that was a great solid hit, right down that line. We'll have to take a look at the replay here. Yeah, it's just gone in.
Well, Talia La Rosa, I've mentioned before, was a terrific player for West Torrens years ago, in her younger days.
A game of inches, and that one just stayed fair, and it's 2-0. Back-to-back hits to start the inning. Showing bunt was Danny Perez.
Yeah, well, Talia didn't move hardly off the base, so I don't think she was aware that it was going to be.
And dangerous hitter to have up here, Danny Perez. She's got 13 RBIs, only 12 hits, but 13 RBIs on the season so far. So she likes to hit in these situations.
She makes them count. Jam shot back to Grauer, holds the runner, and that is the first out of the inning. Well, at least they took advantage of an opportunity that was presented early to them. It's something that Hills struggled to do early on in this game. And we talked to Robert Laidlaw, who covers this sport for Our Sporting Life and for Softball South Australia, has a sporting radio show as well. And he said he kind of felt like 4 was the magic number in this game, and 2 races get a bit closer to that.
It does, yeah. And we're playing full 7 innings tonight, so
full 7.
Not quite halfway through the game, but you know, he's on track with his prediction so far.
Alex Mackey, 0-1 count. Grounded over towards short. Letton scoops, Letton fires, and they've got 1. Can they get 2? That drifts away, and scampering home is Talia La Rosa. Aggressive base running from Hills forces a defensive error from Port, and it's 3-0.
Yeah, I think it's a good effort for was a touch straps to go for that there, because you know, on the money it could have been close, but just tipped out of the glove.
Heads up base running, wasn't it? Took the opportunity. There it was. We see on the replay. Just got away at third.
The team that made the least amount of errors all season have now allowed 2 runs on errors.
And we talked about that at the start, didn't we, about just taking these opportunities. And sometimes sometimes it pays not to throw the ball, the second throw, just because it doesn't hit the mark. There's another run, and 3 big runs now.
Well, who would have thought that in a game where they loaded the bases in the first inning with nobody out and got the first 2 runners aboard, they only score 1 run, but in the 3rd inning, they've gone a great hit, triple from Peyton Daniels, but Talia La Rosa just kind of on an infield hit scores the run, and then an error scores the other run. It's weird how offense is generated like that in this crazy game we call softball.
Yeah.
Jorgensen in a nice position. Just takes a pitch. She was never swinging at that. It was like a free pitch for Yo Grauer just to throw one in the zone.
Yeah, definitely.
Jorgensen swings through that. Full count, 2 outs.
I love that confidence in her swing. She's actually not very old either, and you know, she's just really stepped up this season and playing so well for this team. But you know, no worry about the fact she's up against a Cathcart medalist there.
This is where I'll be throwing the change-up now. She's wanting the hit. The thing you don't want is the change-up coming. Because that's an important thing about youth, isn't it? Young people, you can't keep them down all day.
Well, remember, she was called out at home in the last inning. She got hit by a pitch, but kind of on cue with the rest of this Hills team. It's been a very aggressive day on the base paths. She's going to look at that one. A perfect pitch from Yo Grauer. You're absolutely right, Kathy. They end the inning, but Hills extend their lead. We're through 3, and the lead is 3. We'll see ya in the 4th. Gemma Letton smiles, leading things off for Port Adelaide. They're down 3 runs. You feel like it could be more the way this game is going. It's the middle of the lineup, and Letton right to Hood, right to Mackey, right on the scoreboard as an out.
First pitch, wasn't it?
Yeah, first pitch.
I feel like these innings are taking a long time when Hills is batting, but when Port Adelaide's batting, they're retiring them pretty quickly.
Yeah, there's only been 3, 6.
Just need to get them back one at a time.
Yeah, 11.
11 batters, yeah. 10 outs, 11 batters, and Yo Grauer's been one of these outs, and Georgia Hood, it feels like one of those days she's just in her rhythm.
I think Yo's going to come up with a cracking shot here. That's just what they need, don't they? Just a lift, Port.
They need a bit of a lift. They've been lucky to hang around so far. You got to start with 1 run at a time. 3 runs is a very manageable get.
Yeah, absolutely. You get a couple people on, you know, there's a safe hit or an error somewhere, a deflection off of the infield.
Just don't look too far ahead. Just 1 bat at a time.
And they have time, which is exactly what they wouldn't have in a regular season competition where games are only 90 minutes long. These are 7 innings no matter what, unless there's a mercy rule.
don't think we'll be heading there tonight.
Not the way that these teams have been all season long in terms of how close they've been. Grauer, chop foul, 2-2 count.
Don't see George throwing a lot of change-ups, do you?
She likes them fast.
Yes.
Interestingly enough, I'm having a look over at the Hills dugout, and Chantel Lewis is throwing down a few pitches.
Yeah, that's interesting. Georgia Hood is the ace of this team, but Chantel Lewis actually has a better earned run average, and she was very good, not just a serviceable replacement. She was quite good as far as pitching goes in the last part of the season. She's a completely different look than Georgia Hood. You've got 7 defensive innings as this pitch comes in. Grauer, big swing at that goes foul. How does the strategy change in the finals? Now you've got 7 defensive innings you have to get through instead of 90 minutes. You might need another pitcher.
Yeah, absolutely. I think both all teams coming into the finals have to be making sure that they've prepared both pitchers. The main pitcher and the backup pitcher for any situation. We've seen the backup pitchers for a lot of teams who have a
That one called strike as Yo Grauer was running down the first base line. She's got a cheeky smile on her face. It's a called strike. Here's a look. Lee?
No comment.
You can see she's not happy with that. But yeah, all teams have a couple of different looks for their pitchers, which gives some good strategy when you're coming in. If you've got teams that are used to hitting fastball pitchers, we've seen that some of them have struggled with the slower pitchers. So it's just nice to have a few weapons up your sleeve coming into any game situation.
Yeah, that's a great point you made about the backup pitchers, because you look at Port Adelaide, they've had to use different pitchers when Grauer's been out. Even West Torrens, as dominant as Steph Trzynski has been, we forget that the first half of the season, they had to use backup pitchers, and Taylor Mead just got better and better each week, so they have a good option. And the dynamic duo at Sturt is the best 1-2 combination in the competition all season long, and Zolly Adams and Millie Fitch. I think all the teams have done a good job recognizing that you need 2.
Yeah, and they've used 2 all season too. And as I said, that's a great thing to do coming into the final. You always want to make sure that you've got all options covered.
It's different than other years where there's been import pitchers and they've just eaten every single inning.
Yep. The thing that impressed me about Taylor Chillingworth in the batting box?
You tell me, Lee.
Her self-confidence. Look at her. She's not phased out by this situation.
Kathy, you rang off a bunch of interesting stats about Chillingworth earlier in terms of where she is. She's pretty much top 5 or 10 in every statistical category, not on her team, but in the league and among some of the best names. She belongs now, doesn't she?
Oh, she absolutely belongs, and how exciting to see sort of the level that she has stepped up this year. But as I said before, the company that she's keeping in where she sits on those stats.
We're talking Olympic caliber company.
Yeah, we are. Yeah. As I said earlier, in terms of the top 5 at batting average, the order: Maddie Cameron, Georgia Hood, Belinda White, Jordan Harris, Taylor Chillingworth.
And behind her?
Chelsea Robinson, Steph Trzynski, Kaylee Bonathan, who won't see anymore this year, but then Gemma Letton.
And she works a walk here, and a nice, patient, confident at bat from Taylor Chillingworth. And Lee, like you said, with that self-confidence, she is plumb in the middle of, if this is your first softball game you're watching, these are the superstar names in this competition.
Yeah.
First base on balls for George.
This is a good point, Lee. First walk of the
That
day
helps.
for Georgia Hood.
That helps, doesn't it?
A free base.
Yep.
Generally, the team that gives up the most free bases, walks, errors, if you're in the negative side of that, you usually lose the game, and it's clearly one side. Hit over to right field. It takes a funny bounce. Runner's going to get all the way to third, and for the first time today, runners are on the corners thanks to a hit from Ella Forrester, the youngster.
Oh, yeah, she's placed that perfectly. Just caused a little bit of confusion with the ball coming at the same time that the runner was coming across as well. So
It
that's
just avoided the runner, it looked like, because had it hit the runner, it would have been an out, wouldn't
correct. It looks like Gemma Letton came in and replaced
Here's their chance, the Magpies, right here and now. 1 out. And the 1-3 split. I wonder how they'll play this.
Yeah, so Taylor Chillingworth gets a runner for the catcher. That's Gemma Letton. She's got some great speed. And for the first time today, Port Adelaide have an opportunity to score some runs. Now, last time these three batswomen were up, Chillingworth, Forrester, and Callahan, they went strikeout, strikeout, strikeout. This is walk, hit, and now Charlize Callahan tries to reverse the script completely and try to bring in the first run, a crucial run for Port Adelaide here on the floor.
And Charlize is no slouch with the bat as well. You can see she's had 13 hits in the season and driven in 5 RBIs.
Main thing is for George not to throw it in the dirt here.
See if they put the steal on, they'll be giving her second base. That one low, a nice block
Nearly
from
was, wasn't it?
Amber Hood. Amber Hood's one of the best behind the plate, though.
Quality catcher, though. That helps, doesn't it?
And they know each other.
Yep.
They've been doing this all their lives.
Well, I hope
Literally
so.
all
I
their
hope so.
lives.
I hope they know each other, seeing their sisters.
Correct.
Hood to Hood, 2-0 count, threatening Magpies. And this is about to get interesting with a 3-0 count. You'd think, with 2 outs lead, do you even try to throw it in the strike zone, knowing you got a quality hitter in Charlize Callahan, or you just say, okay, we've lost this battle, load the bases, we'll try to get that out with Megan Williams?
Yeah, Megan hit the ball out the centre field. Remember, Maddie came in and took a good running catch, so she could hit.
She's never swinging. Throw back down the bases. Interesting she chose to throw it. That's a risky play because if that gets by Peyton Daniels, it's a run.
You're on a hiding.
And there's smiles.
You're on a hiding to nothing.
I love that Gemma Letton is always smiling.
Yeah, there's a good pickoff attempt there.
Great throw from Amber Hood.
Yeah, coming around the batter. Quick feet.
Callahan swings through that, and back in the count is the pitcher, Georgia Hood. Full count, runners will go. A base hit could score 2.
Just got to throw hard now, George. Just flat, go to your go-to pitch and throw it now, right now. Down the middle if you have to.
Can Port capitalize? Hood to Callahan, and Callahan puts it in play, and La Rosa over to first. They get out of the jam. Port threatened for the first time today. Hills keep it clean. It's 3-0.
Well, it's the first time they were threatening for the game, wasn't it? So I wouldn't be surprised if it won't be the last either. So as we always say, the game's not over till it's over, and 3-0. Yeah, a good score against 2 very competitive teams, but it's still within range.
It's been the story with Georgia Hood. She can dominate for a few innings, but she sometimes has that one inning where a few runs get across, doesn't she?
Yeah, and I think that's like most the good pitchers too. There's just one inning something happens. Now we've seen Sturt a few times when they've been playing other teams and they've kept them tight, Sturt. And all of a sudden, Sturt have one innings batting off the pitchers that have been on top. Yeah, it's incredible. Well, it's like last time West Torrens played Hills, and Hills were with them till the 6 innings. It was 1-0. West Torrens was Steph pitching a treat, and then all of a sudden the wheels fell off. Get about 4 runs last innings.
They did, yeah.
Well, we go to the bottom of the 4th. We're at the exact midpoint of the game. 7 innings, middle of the 4th, 3-0. Here's your game recap just quickly. It was loaded bases, nobody out, all on walks to start the game. Hills could only score 1 run. They got the first 2 runners aboard in the second, only could score 0 runs, and they scored 2 using a big triple from Peyton Daniels to spark plug the offense. They scored 2 runs on just the 5 batters that came to plate. We're in the 4th now, and we're going to turn over the lineup with the next batter. It'll be the 3rd time through for some pretty good hitters on Yo Grauer. Generally, that works an advantage on the hitting side.
Yeah, by the time you've seen that pitcher coming to the 3rd time, you've got the speed worked out, and the momentum is with them. The energy and the momentum is with them, and yeah, I think that they'll be handling this really well.
4 strikeouts and 5 walks for Yo Grauer, the reigning MVP. 2-1 count.
Well, Matty Rocha, the batter, number 9 hitter for the Heat, got a hit up the middle, first turn at bat. She'd want to get another one now, wouldn't she? Get a bit greedy here. Come on, Matty.
And she rolls this over. A nice backhanded play from Tash Straps, who races back to the bag. A good athletic play. Those are the plays you like to see, Kathy.
Oh, I love to see that kind of stuff. Yes, for me, it's all about athleticism, and that looks fantastic. And I love the confidence of someone to take a backhand, stick that glove out, give that a try, and then it was a foot race to get to the base.
Maddie gave herself the chance, though, didn't she?
She definitely
gave herself a chance, put the ball on the deck, and off and running. But very good play from Tash.
Good look at it on the leading team's replay there. Why is that backhand play so difficult?
Well, I don't know that people do a lot of practice of it, so maybe the confidence isn't there. But it's really about, you've got to make sure you're low to the ground. You've got to make sure your glove is actually turned in the right position at the end of this year. It's not as easy as sort of taking something on glove side and taking through the middle. So
and the backhand play, normally you'll find people have trouble when they go down too early. Like if you're playing at third base and the ball's coming along and then gets out and then you get a bad bounce. You need to have the timing for it.
Impressive play on that too, because all her momentum going one way and just to quickly take it back the other way to get back to the bag. Georgia Hood is the batter. 21 hits on the year, a 500 batting average, 8 RBIs, so she's been at the top, 13 walks, and I think a few of those were intentional. How is this? 2 strikeouts. She's just not impossible to get out, but about as close as you can get in softball. Hit hard over to third. Nice grab from Charlize Callahan. The youngster across the diamond gets Georgia Hood out.
And another great example of a backhand. We're going to have a look at it here, the leading team's replay. She's just in a good position, sticks that glove. That's a good
Very
play.
good. Put it down, like we talked about, Kath. Put it down the correct time, just snaffle it, throw her out.
Well, for the first time of the game, the first 2 base runners did not get aboard to start an inning for Hills.
Maybe this is the turning point. Port's last turn at bat.
They threatened the last inning, and now, unfortunately, it was just with 2 outs. But now, maybe Yo Grauer settled in a little bit. She walked 5 in the first 8 batters she had. She hasn't walked anybody since.
I think the Heat bench is aware of this because the noise is elevated.
They brought the plastic buckets to drum on tonight.
If she can get Amber Hood out, that's crucial because she's got through Matty Rocha, who already had a hit, and then Georgia Hood, and then Amber Hood. If they can get through this part of the lineup, 1, 2, 3, you feel like you can just breathe a little bit more if you're Port Adelaide.
Oh, I think so. And, you've got
how's the dancing to the dugout now, too?
Yeah, they've got some rhythm going on.
Speaking of rhythm.
Swing. Wow, what a swing.
Great swing, but an even better pitch.
Yeah.
Haven't seen the changeup lately. You notice a couple of innings now since we've seen it. I'd throw it right now against a good batter like this.
She's just trying to maybe stick to her bread and butter, stay in their comfort zone right now.
Yeah, but I would because we saw Lauren Christensen just get bat on ball against them. I think you just got to just mix it up a bit.
Amber Hood is 0 for 1 today. She has a walk. She struck out looking in a call she didn't take kindly to back in the second inning.
There you go, Lee. Just unfortunately didn't pay off. It's a little bit high, but definitely took the pace off of that one a little bit.
Amber Hood is a tough at-bat.
Yeah. And you've got to pitch carefully to people like her and the George, her sister. Otherwise, they'll punish her.
And she spent most of her senior career batting in the first position, so yeah, she is a patient batter. She's only just moved down to second this season. Coach Scott Humphreys has seen something, he wants to try something else, and that has paid off for them, and they've done that, I think, maybe in the second half of the season, or at least, I think since January.
Patience pays off, and she gets a walk, that .533 on base percentage, showing true to form. She's aboard on first. Matty Rocha, runner for the catcher rule. Not that Amber Hood isn't athletic and fast. Matty Rocha's pretty quick too, but she'll get in her catcher's gear as Lauren Christensen comes in. Base hit could extend the lead.
If I got 2 strikes on Lauren here from Yo, I'm throwing changer. Because she'll be swinging, I can tell you.
She's walked once and struck out. That was back in the 2nd inning.
See, she's getting weight on ball now, where initially she wasn't. So that means she's up with the pace of the pitch.
A 3rd time through.
Yeah, so that's why I'd take the pace off it. And make her swing, and she'll be out early and then sitting down.
On her toes, Laura Christensen. Gets the bat on ball. Rolled to 2nd. Neves to 1st. And we are through 4 innings. We're over halfway of a gripping elimination final. Port Adelaide have some work to do. They trail the Hills Heat 3-0. We'll be back in the 5th. Over halfway through elimination final, 2 teams that like to think of themselves as contenders, but there can only be one after the day, and 2 teams that have quickly rebuilt their programs. Hills started their program. Port Adelaide bounced back after winless season. Both teams trying to get to a preliminary final. It would be a remarkable accomplishment in just a few years for either one of these teams that gets through, but Hills with the early advantage 3-0. It really comes down to free bases that Port have given up.
Yeah, most definitely, and you're right, both of these teams are fighting. You know, they know where their history is, they know where they've come from, and this is really big moments for them, and they want to keep their dream alive and their opportunities alive. But yeah, it's just kind of just been a little plug away here and there. Going in the Hills' favour at this stage.
George looks like in the last couple of battles she's seen, it just lost it a little bit. Whether she's lost the pace or what, it's just...
And that's a good example right there, Lee.
Yep.
She had the first 3 outs of the game in the 1st inning. It was a jam shot that she used with pace, and then 2 real soft contacts to get them out. Then she struck out the side in the 2nd inning, and again it was soft contact, including a strikeout in the 3rd. The last inning, when 2 outs came aboard, all of a sudden Port Adelaide flicked a switch, and they've been threatening a little bit more patient at bats, and yeah, you're right, Georgia just not quite the same. Yeah. She's falling behind in counts.
Throwing a lot of different pitches. I mean, a lot of different heights, which is not like her.
She's allowed 2 hits today, and she struck out 5, walked 1. Tidy game in the 5th.
Now she's back.
Yeah, 2 in a row there.
Yeah. You got to have a go-to pitch. Every pitcher of quality has a go-to pitch for that particular game. What's working? So when you're in trouble, get behind the count. Go to your go-to pitch.
Megan Williams chopped to foul territory. Peyton Daniels, that would have been a really nice basket catch. That was a tough one to make. Great effort of her to get a jump on that.
Yeah, I mean, I'd have to see the replay, but I'd like to have seen her actually try and take that up above her shoulder in the backhand rather than kind of in that scoop position.
Yeah, just a blind catch.
Yeah.
Williams, a hit to right field.
Nice.
Jorgensen tried to make it interesting, but that's a base hit for Megan Williams. All 3 hits have come to the right side for Port Adelaide today, and for the first time they have a leadoff runner.
Yeah, have a look at that. Abby Jorgensen, she's commented that really quickly. Look, a different runner. I mean, Megan Williams is very quick, but a different runner, that would have probably been an out. Tash Straps on it, already
One hit. So what's so good about Megan Williams' running style?
Oh,
From the running specialist.
Well, I'd actually have to have a look at her, so I would have to see a replay. But maybe if she gets some advanced advanced bases and they slow it down, I can talk you through what makes a good runner. And then hopefully everyone who watches will be experts as well.
Just like that, it's so easy.
It is just that easy. It's all about where your foot, as we call it, the foot strike. So where is your foot landing underneath your hip, which direction your leg is propulsing, but also whether it's the ball of your foot or the heel that's laying in the ground first.
Sounds easy.
Put in simple terms, it is, isn't it?
And then, of course, that's the lower half. Of course, the arms are really important as well. Making sure they're running in forward and back and not across your body.
Yes, that's what happens with young people, don't they? When they first start running, this happens.
Well, speed never sleeps, so when you're struggling with the bat, those little things make big impacts in a game. Hills have scored a lot of their runs using aggressive base running and some speed, pouncing on pass balls, opportunities, and errors. So you see the value of speed right in this game. You haven't necessarily seen that bunt single yet, but speed going to make a big difference in the dire moments of this game.
And I think that's the, the modern game. That's what we're seeing the difference of. Years and years and years ago when I played, it was all about fielding and batting. Nobody ever talked about base running.
Tash Straps to the outfield. This is back. This drops in front of the wall. Is it going to score a run? Flying around third, Megan Williams touches the plate, and the Magpies have a run. Tash Straps with her second hit of the game, and it's a big one, and Port are in business.
Boy, she is seeing that ball from Georgia Hood like a watermelon, isn't she? That's a fantastic hit, and the second one of the game. Looking at the replay here, yeah, that's just kept going and kept going.
Goes over the head of Mackenzie Ween, and that's a great piece of hitting. And Georgia Hood started off the game by allowing just one hit in her first 12 batters. Since then, she's gone walk, hit, ground out, hit, hit. So the Magpies, who looked kind of dormant for a little bit, it's swooping season.
Yep, they're coming back. The game is definitely not over.
Well, I touched on that, didn't I? I said that George has just lost something here, and that was a long ball.
Yeah.
How's Megan Williams scoring from first?
Yeah. Well, that ball was very high for a long time. So, yeah, that was absolutely the right thing for her to do.
She has to bunt here, Amelia.
Runner on second, nobody out. Amelia Dolphin getting into the lineup because of an injury. She lays down a bunt. It's a good one, barehanded. Throw to first. There was a close play over at first, but Lee, you love that because Tash Straps is over at third, and now that gives you a bit more options to try to score that run.
Yeah. Put her closer to the home plate, the runner.
And it turns the lineup over to, with just one out, to Jess Neves batting, and Gemma Letton and Yo Grauer, danger part of the lineup for Port.
But see, that's the percentage play, isn't it? That's why I said Amelia's got a bunt here, no matter what. Just bunt, put her there.
That's a team play. And now it's Port Adelaide's dugout making a lot more noise. The magician, Jess Neves, up to bat. Walked more than she struck out. Great signs. There it is from Georgia Hood.
Had a birthday through the week, last Wednesday, I think it was, Jess. Reached the ripe old age of 30, she tells me.
I'm feeling old. She just looks so young.
Yes, I know.
What I love about Jess Neves is she's been on the peripheral of a state team for a long time. Here's the pitch. She swings through that. Second strike on her. She was just on the outside looking in for so many years, but she kept on going out for that state team, trying to make it, and she cracked the state team last year, or the last full year of the competition. She's a versatile player, a great attitude, and hard worker.
Yes, I've coached her before, and her attitude, like you just said, is fantastic. Georgia thinks that was a strike then.
And my understanding is that Jess took absolutely every opportunity to learn from that experience, whether it be from coaching knowledge or the players around her, and she just was like a sponge that whole trip.
Georgia Hood with a big reaction on that. How's the emotion starting to come out in this game? As Hood deals the pitch up the middle, Hood quickly grabs that, holds the runner. That was the nice play about that, as she held the runner at third and made the out on Jess Neves. Really quick hands on this one.
Yeah, and really important, and that's exactly what she needed to do. Just put a little pressure on the runner there, attached there at third, just to let her know she's got her eye on her.
Well, how's the emotion? You saw a big audible yell from Tash Straps when she got to second base on the double that scored a run. A big celebration from Yo Grauer in the dugout, and she was jumping around. And then you see the animated Georgia Hood, not only just on that out, but before that when she thought it was a strike. The emotion is starting to become a great factor in this game, and you love it.
These girls invest, they love this sport. They love what comes with the sport, the friendships, the competitiveness, the battles. They work hard and they put a lot into it, and this means something. So it's not just, it'll just be the end of the season for us. They want to keep going.
And there are world-class players here that play on the number 2 ranked Australian national team. Hit up the middle, bobbled by Hood, fights with it, throw to first. She doesn't quit on it at all.
And what a confident throw. She still let it go like a rocket, regardless of the fact there's a bit of pressure on her because the runner was almost there.
Gave herself a chance then, Gemma, didn't she? Put the ball on the deck. She can run as well, but George up at the task.
Yeah, great point, Kathy, earlier about these girls fighting for this game, because they dedicate every weekend, not necessarily just playing A grade, but also B grade, but also coaching around their club. They play midweek games. They train during the week. They have full-time jobs or full-time students, and these women also dedicate not 5 hours, not 10 hours, more than 20 hours, a lot of work and even personal growth into being the best they can be for a country that's one of the best in the world at this, in a state that has some of the best players on that team that's ranked so highly in the world.
Yeah, and so many juniors coming through. I mean, credit to Supple SA over the past 10 years with their Dragons program. We've got the likes of our senior girls that we're really very familiar with, but we look at those junior Aussie teams and Aussie squads now, and there's
so many SA girls.
Used to be you'd occasionally see a girl from SA, and now you're seeing good chunks.
Yeah, it used to be a reason that you celebrate. You get one girl on it, and everyone's celebrating, and now it's like, okay.
Yeah.
Which is a good thing.
Absolutely.
And you're seeing that pay off on the state level. I mean, the last time we had a national championships before COVID cost us the last one. I mean, South Australia now knocking on the doors of breaking a half-century-long drought of winning a national championship by finishing second and playing in close contacts in those championship games.
Yeah, well, the last 2 Gillies Shield finals have been South Australia and New South Wales, and no blowouts, very close games.
They're not far off, and the community is strong here. Middle of the lineup, Peyton Daniels, Talia La Rosa, Danny Perez. Daniels and La Rosa started off the 3rd inning. We're now in the 5th. Daniels had a triple and scored. La Rosa had a single and scored.
She's still wanting to hit, and especially after feeling that triple the last time she was up.
There's the dugout again from Hills. Sounds like a soccer game. Daniels feels like she's got a bit of swagger about her now after that last shot.
Sometimes when you're American, it just comes naturally, I think.
American swag?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, there's a drum in there. That's fantastic.
That's good.
It's that flat swing, Lee, that she's got.
Yep. She's a powerful girl.
Yeah, really playing well. She was doing very well before Seacombe last year in the catching position, but has certainly made third base her own, moving over here to Hills this season.
A massive acquisition for the Heat in the offseason.
And by her going to third, put gave Danny Perez a chance to play at shortstop this year.
Yeah.
So win-win situation.
Well, she axed at that one, and that was just a disgustingly nice pitch from Yo Grauer.
It's kind of like, oops, I think I need to swing at this. Oops, I did too late.
Well, we are reaching the 90-minute mark of the game. I say that not because the game's about to end, but in a regular season game, games are over after 90 minutes. This game will probably go around that 2-hour mark because we will play 7 innings. But it now reaches a point where players have just played 25 games at the 90-minute mark, and now you have to dig deep. It's a little bit longer. Does that have any effect as a player? Now you're playing in extra time pretty much from what you're used to.
I think it's completely different. Like you said, you play the whole season, minor round, and then you come to this with no time limit. I think you just need to adjust and just you get more time between innings for start. And Johanna got a pretty good rest since she pitched the previous innings because Port were getting people on base. You know, and a long shot from what's the name out there started it off, and that ekes up away the time. Yeah, Test Traps, and that takes up time and just gives your pitcher a chance.
Do you think it probably has a bigger effect on the pitchers, given that now they have to throw more pitches than what they're used to?
Yeah, I absolutely think so. You know, it does sort of drag longer into the game, and it's just physical. It's also mental. Same with the catcher. It's really the whole situation with the battery. So this is where, whether they practice this, possibly not. You know, playing and training longer than you need to. But yeah, so it'll be interesting. It's going to be the battle of who hangs on to the end, really.
Yes, you've made a point about whether they practice backhand before earlier on, and I'm not quite sure a lot of people do practice backhand. All of a sudden you'll see them in games when they don't need to use it. Think, I haven't done that for a while, and the ball just goes over the top. Yeah, I think it's a skill that they should practice because there'll be a time when you can't get your feet around in position to field the ball front on, so you have to use your backhand. Shortstop's a classic case, isn't it?
It is.
Big shots like your daughter, Jordan, gets a lot that go there hard.
Well, they talk about, in high-performance sport, they talk about the 1%ers. You know, everyone can do the 99%, but are you out there training for those 1%? That one time, this is record. That one time, you're going to get that backhand that's going to make a significant difference to a game.
Exactly, yeah.
Second strikeout in a row, and Talia La Rosa retires her. Well, yeah, that's a great point on those 1%ers because they can help you, but they can also hurt you. I mean, a wild pitch and an error have accounted for 2 runs in this game for Hills, and Port Adelaide, who are the best defensive team in the competition statistically, that's coming back to hurt them. Those are the little tiny things making a huge difference in this game right now and possibly the season. Yeah,
definitely. Everything counts. Every base on ball counts. You know, it's all part of the puzzle, and you just can't sort of go, oh, that's okay. We'll get the next one. We'll let them go. Or, a wild pitch. Oh, it's okay. They've only scored 1 run. You just can't allow for any of that.
Grauer looks a lot more settled than she did since they gave up their last run. She hasn't allowed a hit since the last run scored. She's gone through all 9 and just allowed the 1 walk. So this time through the lineup, since that last run, Grauer back with the power.
Yes, she certainly's got more toe than what George has at this very moment. Is there a twist in the tail here?
The momentum, it's not been like a big, sometimes you see these big surges in these changes of momentum. You feel like it's just being an arm wrestle that's being tussled away a little bit. And Hills had a lot of opportunities early and couldn't score runs, and now Port Adelaide are getting runners on, but they're not necessarily capitalizing to their full ability.
That's right.
Remember, they had a runner on third with 1 out last half inning, couldn't score the run. Hills had bases loaded, no outs, 1 run scored, and then runners on first and second, no outs, and no runs scored in the first 2 innings. Grauer now has 6 strikeouts, but she's also walked 6.
Benny Perez is very aggressive here.
She's giving her a run for her money, isn't she?
She's after it.
An intriguing game. There's no doubt about that. We hope you're enjoying it wherever you're watching. That is a tip strikeout, and she strikes out the side. Yo Grauer goes 1, 2, 3. She's got 7 strikeouts of the day. This is an arm wrestle and a half. We're through 5. We'll be back. Eric Balnar, Kathy Lambert, and Lee Hull joining you live from Softball South Australia. It's an elimination final. Winner through to the prelim. Loser is done. All that hard work ends tonight. Lot on the line. We've got 2 innings to go, and it's really felt like an arm wrestle all game long.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, there's never been a time when you felt really comfortable about, who's actually going to take this game out, because it's kind of had a bit of a toss and turn the whole way as it's gone. And look, Port in a really good position here to try and do some damage on Hills with Hannah Grauer, Taylor Chillingworth, and Ella Forrester.
It's the middle of the lineup, and you can feel the pressures being dialed up just a little bit. Yo Grauer would have felt a lot of pressure in some of the big games she played in NCAA softball or internationally. Kathy, from a high performance perspective, how do you deal with pressure? Is it even a real thing?
Well, the mental game is just as important as the physical game, and at high performance level, they spend time focusing on that. So, as a junior, coming through the ranks, you do a lot of physical stuff. It's about developing your skills. But, Yo, at a very classy college at UCLA, and then time with the Swedish national team, she would have had a lot of performance psychology sort of in her training and her time with those teams. And it's simple. They get you to focus on what you need to focus on and not get your head too far away from you. And she'll have a lot of experience in this space.
Do you think that has been on display tonight, given she started the game with 3 straight walks, and when she was in that corner, she's found something else to get them out of a jam. She's got herself in trouble, but got herself out of trouble. And then now she's settled in pitching, at least, by retiring 11 of 12. It seems like she just wasn't rattled even when she could have been.
Yeah, that's right. A less experienced pitcher, especially the start that she had, might have just fell in a heap. But, she always backed herself, and that's what performance psychology is about. It's about, you're looking at one thing at a time. You got to put confidence in the journey that took you there, not in what's happening right at the moment.
And there was an excellent turn of bat by Yo, wasn't it? Really, lead off here, important part of the game, top of the 6th.
Second straight inning, they've got a leadoff runner after, for the first 3 2/3, Georgia Hood was looking really tough to hit. Now in the last 9 batters through, they've got 2 walks and 3 hits and 1 run. It all started with Taylor Chillingworth working a walk in the 4th inning, and that's when the magic has started to happen for Port Adelaide, but they're still obviously down by 2 runs, as you can see on that scoreboard. And Taylor Chillingworth has taken a big step forward and cemented herself as one of the elite players in this competition. Elite players need to do elite things in big moments, and this is one of them right here in a playoff game. We don't know if she'll have another at-bat this game.
Yeah, that's right. There you go, Lee.
A good plan of attack here by Port. Take as many pitches as you can. That's the plan here, isn't it?
Do you have Chantel Lewis warming up at any point? or is Georgia Hood the go-to the rest of the way?
Well, I would think that she's warming up. Chantel, I'm thinking that there's a nice strike. But that's what they're doing, Port, at the moment, aren't they? No time limit in this game. Take your time. Make her throw more pitches.
Hills 3, Port 1. If it was regular season, this game would be over, but this is an elimination final. We're seeing who the best is here, and it's called strike as Chillingworth was starting to walk down to first. Full count coming.
You know what happens when you think you get a call that you don't agree with? You swing at the next pitch.
Yeah, let's hope she pulls herself together here and not be caught up in that.
Inside.
No, well done.
Back-to-back walks to start the inning, much like the first inning when Yo Grauer walked the first 3 batters. Georgia Hood has now walked the first 2. We've seen one pitcher respond with a bunch of strikeouts to keep runs off the board. It's Georgia Hood's turn to do the same thing.
Yep, but I think if they get one run here, I think change of pitcher will be happening.
Ella Forrester had a hit. She's showing bunt. Lee, do you like this call?
I'm not quite sure whether she's going to bunt. I think she's just showing it, just to test out what the field's doing. That's what you do at times.
And what are you looking for?
Well, they're both rushing in. You're looking to see if they're coming in close enough, or are they just, like, look where Peyton Daniels is fielding.
At third.
Yeah, that's right.
So she's close, so now what's the play here?
Well, I'd be going slap here.
Both
like
fielders moving right in off that pitch.
Yeah,
you can see it on that nice wide shot from the team at Spacequake Sports here.
So you get him in, and then Peyton's really close. Then you go slap, which she did. But if she pulls around there, you won't have much time to field that ball.
Great spot, Lee. Forrester, 1 for 2 on the day, strikeout and a single. Showing bunt, goes right through, strike 2. Every pitch so important right now. This is why you love the game, because everything is happening between the pitches right now, whether it be the defensive alignments, the strategy of whether it's off speed or a fastball or a rise ball or a bunt or a slap single. Rides up high.
You can definitely feel the tension. The Hills team have gone very quiet. There's no drums going on there. Like, everyone is just kind of like breathing, very, very...
Somebody put a knife through the pigskin with a drum.
2-2 count. Ella Forrester just stays alive with that one.
She does.
Another great turn at bat here from the Magpies.
Ella coming off a hit out to right field last inning as well, last time at bat.
Just to think, it could have got ugly early for Port Adelaide. All those base runners.
Yep.
Hills only score 3 runs. And Port hanging around, have the tying run on first base. Put into play.
Oh.
Daniels bobbles the ball and the bases are loaded. That is what pressure can do.
Yeah.
That comes under the heading, ball first, play second. Yeah, she's spent it. She was thinking about going back to the base before she had control of the ball.
Here's the leading team's replay. Yeah, she started moving back.
She's not sort of gotten herself behind that comfortably, and as you said, Lee, you can see she's kind of hedging herself over to third base.
One thing at a time.
You said that there's not much between these teams, and it's been similar stories for them. Both teams, middle of the table, pretty much all season long, around those 500 record. Well, in the first inning, it was bases loaded, no outs for the Hills Heat. They scored 1 run. Now it's bases loaded, no out for Port Adelaide. It's the same opportunity. Whoever takes the biggest advantage might just win this game. What can Charlie's Callahan do? She chops at the first pitch.
First pitch. I don't think I'll be going the first pitch. Bases loaded. They got that way because they took their time, got their money's worth. She should do the same thing here. Walk here, scores a run, puts them 1 behind. And a change of pitcher it will be in my eyes.
A gripping contest. Callahan swings at that one. Grauer went strikeout when she had bases loaded, nobody out.
Well, when you come in now, you don't have to be the hero, get it over the fence. Just have to do the team things, you know.
Callahan lays off that one.
Not phased at all, was she?
I heard her dad calling in the stand, good eye, good eye. Fair enough too, as old dads would.
And it's those eyes that have evened up the count. Now pressure also on Amber Hood catching.
Yep. Knowing what to call. Come on, George, give it to me.
Pressure everywhere. Callahan fouls one away. That's okay. You see Rowena Travaskis, one of the 3 co-coaches that took over this team mid-season, dodge out of the way. She's had a couple reconstructions on those knees, Rowena. Good to see her nice and nimble down there.
Yeah, you can see she's gingerly trying to. I've seen it a couple of times tonight.
Nimble,
gingerly.
is that the word you're looking for?
Nimble. One of the most positive people you'll ever meet, Rowena Travaskis over at.
Oh, yeah, fantastic.
Does a lot for baseball and softball in this state. Callahan swings through that huge strikeout from Georgia Hood.
The drums will be up again in a minute.
Yeah, fantastic pitch, and you know, again, it's a lot of pressure on that battery in that position with bases loaded. And a good hitter.
Yeah, sorry. Here's the danger here because she's hit 2 pretty good balls so far, Megan. Fly to the centre field and a base hit to centre field.
On that last shot, how was the stress on the face of the coaching staff for the Hills? Hills coached this year by Scott Humphreys and Tracy Opolsky.
Yeah, doing a great job.
1 out, bases loaded. Megan Williams, she has a single and she scored. That was last inning. It was off the bat of a big Tash Straps double. And Tash Straps is 2 for 2, seeing the ball well and on deck.
Best thing about Megan, patience. She's a patient hitter.
Georgia Hood taking her time.
Until then.
1-2 count. Well, Grauer, bases loaded, no out. Goes strikeout. Hood, bases loaded, nobody out. 1 strikeout. She's got 2 strikes on Megan Williams. Put into play. Called off.
Infield fly.
Infield fly, and oh my goodness. Bases loaded, nobody out, and Port struggled with this, or Hill struggled with this earlier. Now Port, same thing.
Yeah, that Tash Straps in the box. Single to 9, double to 7.
And that was the RBI of the only run. Tash Straps has 2 hits so far. How huge would this be?
I think if they were 3 or 4 up, I would walk it, but can't afford to do it now.
Yeah, if they had that, they don't have that breathing room.
No, they don't. Well, outfield, you've got to be in a bit and just catch this ball. You can't let it land. It'll be 2 runs. Tied ball game.
Straps, big swing, goes through this one. And now Georgia Hood 1 strike away from getting out of a massive jam in the second to last inning.
And this is where Georgia's got to throw a go-to pitch right now.
Amber Hood might have just saved a run by catching a ball that just ran up high.
Because the pace on that, if it hits this back wall, it could go anywhere, this wire.
Absolutely.
Abby Jorgensen's going further back. You got to come in, girl, and catch the ball. Can't land here.
Good job from Tash Straps to stay alive. Keeps it 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs, bases loaded. Preliminary final in the dying moments of a great game.
Yep, another patient batter, isn't she? Megan Williams and Tash Straps, both very patient, experienced players.
Then she swings through it. Georgia Hood loads the bases with no outs and then gets her team out of the jam and preserves a 2-run lead. What a battle. Could you have a bigger time for your 7th strikeout of the day?
That was impressive.
There's been a lot of tension in this game, and both teams have loaded the bases. Both teams had no outs, and both teams have struggled to score a run. Hills did score that one, but wow, I can't believe what we're seeing now.
Well, I mean, and what I loved about that was, you know, we were just talking maybe an inning ago about Georgia, and she was starting to let a few balls go down, and had she sort of lost a little bit of mental focus. And, you know, if she had, that was going to be the time to see it, but she actually pulled herself right out of that. So, again, she's not that old. She's been around a long time, but she's a youngster. So to be able to sort of do that in tense situations like that, it's really good
excellent
sign.
points, Kathy. She really knuckled down then, George. It was up to her. She knew in her own mind. Chantel had been out there warming up for a long time. So the drums are back, I see.
Both pitchers have done that today, is when they really need to rely on their best stuff. They brought even better than their best.
Yeah.
So we head to the bottom of the 6th inning. Hills Heat are the home team, so they'll bat now, but if they can add a run here, they're just 3 outs away from winning this game and booking their ticket to the prelim final.
Well, Alex Mackey, the batter here to lead off the innings of 7, 8, 9. She is ground out the both times. She can hit the ball. I've got her down for a hit here, maybe up the middle. Big call, I know.
Well, you're usually right, Lee, so...
Alex Mackey,
no!
big hit to
What a
left field.
surprise.
It's a leadoff crack from Alex Mackey, and she's gonna step into second with a big leadoff double for the Hills Heat.
Lee, good job.
Repeat of earlier message. You can't keep good batters down like that, you know, forever. No matter how good a pitcher Yo is, and she's an excellent pitcher.
Looking at the leading team's replay here.
What a shot that was.
Well, it's one of those moments now where Hills is, Coach Humphrey is making a change. Hills can sense a kill here. A couple more runs might be all they need. 2 runs is definitely not enough.
Look who's coming on the run for Alex Mackey. This is a huge sprinter, this girl, Ruby Ballard. Not very old, maybe 14, I think. I saw her in the B grade game on Saturday against Walker. Absolute lightning speed.
Kathy, this will be someone you'll be keen to watch.
I'll be watching.
Well, you don't blink because you'll miss it.
Well, it's good.
Well, Ruby Ballard represents what could be an absolutely crucial run for Hills to get to the preliminary final. Abby Jorgensen lays down the bunt. Now, this is just heads-up play because Alex Mackey, while she is batting very well, if all goes according to plan for Hills, she won't need to bat again because it is the 6th inning. And if all goes according to plan, nobody else on Hills will need to bat again because they're only 3 outs away. But that insurance run's so important. So some good coaching from Scott Humphreys, who's looked nervous all game long. Lays down the bunt, and it's an excellent one, and she's going to get there. Abby Jorgensen has used her speed all game long, and she's done it again.
She impresses me, this girl. I say it every broadcast. There's just something about her. Like you say, Kathy, I see her play baseball. She's just as good at baseball, women's baseball.
You like that run, Kathy?
Yeah, I do. I love her slow down on the side, but she's a top junior state netballer as well. So,
Maddie Rocher laying down the bunt. She's got runners on first and third. Do you like a bunt here knowing there's a runner on third?
Yeah.
Squeeze?
Maybe a squeeze, but I don't think so. Not just yet. Not on this pitch. I think I'd let Abby go through here, see what Port do on the 1-3 split.
Particularly when you've got Georgia.
Run hard up to Jess Nevers and stop then and see what happens. Like that. Just keep running.
Well, I'll tell you what, the 7, 8, 9 batters for Hills Heat today, they are now 3, 4, 7 with a walk on the day, or a hit by pitch. They're productive.
You go squeeze now, Kathy. You score 1, or you get her out, you'll have another runner at third.
And she cracks this one down the left field line. Lee was up and about, just goes foul.
Yep.
That was, no, she has not had any problems hitting this pitcher tonight, has she?
No.
She started off with a huge hit out to 8. And that, she's in fine form, Maddie.
We talked about the previous innings about the both pitchers swapping. One was just losing a little bit, and the other one, now we're getting this.
The arm wrestle down the line. It's hit the runner. It's going to be it's going to load the bases. I think it went off the player to the runner. Let's take a look at the leading team's replay. What happened here? Here's Maddie Rocher. I think it's going to be her second hit of the day.
Yes, he's up the bat.
As Georgia Hood steps in. Here's a look at the leading team's replay. It goes, it bounced.
She's on base.
Yeah.
She was on base, so she's not out because had she been off base, she would have been out because it hit her. But she was on base, so instead it's an infield hit, the second one of the day, and it's bases loaded. Nobody out for Hills. Have we seen this story before? We have, but not with Georgia Hood up to bat. 0-1 count. Hood crunches one. That's going to score 1 run. That's going to score 2 runs. It's going to score 3. And Georgia Hood with the bases clearing double has blown it open for the Hills.
After that first pitch where she was swinging to hit it on the landing tarmac at Adelaide Airport, you knew she was going to hit it hard, and wow, what a fantastic hit. And
sometimes if you pass her up then and let a 1-run score, it's probably better than the option. Best option of the lot, isn't it?
A 3 RBI double has made it a 5-run gap for the Hills Heat. It's been an arm wrestle all game long, but right now it feels like Hills have the arm of Port Adelaide just hovering above that table.
And it's the same old story. Very good batters you can't keep down for the entire game.
Yeah, that was the first hit from Georgia Hood all game, and she's hitting 500 on the season. She's one of the top 2 or 3 contenders for the MVP of the season.
Yes, she did.
And you know what? The MVP might have delivered an MVP moment. Now, we have no idea what that count's going to be, but Georgia Hood's going to be in a decent position, and you can see her locked in.
Good running technique. See the ball at the feet? I watched it the whole way. That's why she can run fast. Everyone watching, take note.
That's why she's on that Olympic team radar.
I have, and I think I'll run home now after that inspirational speech.
If any of you are watching out there and want to know how you can get yourself on the ball at the feet, lots of mini hurdle drills. Mini hurdles, running over them a lot.
Well, Georgia Hood, think about all the runs that she's either prevented or accounted for now. So in the top half of this 6th inning, it was bases loaded, nobody out. She gets 2 strikeouts and a soft hit to allow 0 runs. That could have been 3 or 4 to her name. Instead, it's 0. Excellent job to get it out of that. And then with bases loaded, she delivers a hit and just says, I'll just take them all in right now. 20 minutes ago, I was thinking, oh boy, Port could be up after this inning. Instead, it's now a big Hills lead.
Yeah, absolutely. The momentum has just, been swapping back and forth this whole game, hasn't it? Which makes it such an exciting game, but also a great lesson to learn that 1 inning doesn't count for the whole game. You know, if you don't have a great inning and you get 3 down, you pick up your glove, you get out there, and you start it all over again.
6-1 game. It's a lot closer than the score suggests. That's coming off the 3-run double from Georgia Hood just moments ago. 2-2 count. Amber Hood, a real battle as it's been all day in her at-bat. She's got 2 walks. And she struck out looking on a full count pitch on the other time. She takes a lot of pitches.
She does. She's comfortable in that kind of top of the lineup position where that's what you want to be doing.
Hard hit, through to the outfield, runners on the corners.
Yep.
You know, we talk about it. But she'd already had 2 base on balls, so she's going to get on base.
It's 5 straight hits to start this inning for Hills. Right after Yo Grauer was rolling, she had retired 11 of 12 batters and struck out the last 3 entering this inning.
And I might add, we have not seen one change-up for about 3 or 4 innings, have we?
And it was used a lot early.
Yeah, well, you've got to do something now because they're hitting the ball on a regular basis.
We talked a little bit about what effect it might have on pitchers going deeper into games. Well, instead of batters only seeing them 2 or 3 times in a game, now they're seeing them for a 4th time.
You catch up with the pace after about 3 digs.
Christensen. Thanks for that 0-2 count. Yeah, she comes back with another strikeout. That is her 8th of the day, so she's had a good total in that department. Through 5 in the 3rd innings pitched so far. But still now runners on 2nd and 3rd. Peyton Daniels. Think back to the 3rd inning. She led things off with a triple to center right field. She then later scored as Talia La Rosa brought her in, and then La Rosa later scored on an error. Those 2 runs were so huge in the 3rd inning. And entering this inning, it was a 3-1 game before that Georgia Hood hit. That was the difference at one point in this game.
Yeah, definitely. And there's a big difference between 1-0 and a 3-1. So that, you know, gave them that little bit of a cushion for a couple of innings there.
Peyton Daniels also struck out twice.
Keen to hit, though.
Always.
Not holding back.
Think the changeup's got to be coming, Lee?
Well, who are you going to pitch? They've got the young Charlotte Dobrozchek, but it's a bit late now, isn't it? I think. The bird has flown.
There she goes.
Well, she's come back with runners on 2nd and 3rd and nobody out with 2 straight strikeouts to try to keep this game a manageable distance. We've seen crazier comebacks. You don't have to go that long ago, and we've seen a crazy comeback. How about last Wednesday when Walkerville's season was on the line and they were down and out of that game until they weren't. They scored 6 runs in the bottom of the last to tie it.
I was listening to the commentary last week, and you know, I was...
This is Talia La Rosa straight up in the air. The damage was done in that inning by Georgia Hood. A 3-run double has Hills racing ahead 6-1. We'll be back after this with the Magpies' last chance to dance. Georgia Hood heading back out to try to go the distance and close this game out. She's allowed 1 earned run today. These are her numbers on the season. She's had a really nice year. 166 opponents are batting against her. She's kept the walks down today, and that's probably been the most important thing, only walking 3 batters as we're entering the 7th inning. She also has that difference-making 3 RBI double. Again, showing why she might be getting these votes if this was a game you could get votes in.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, she's just dominated in the pitching circle for Hills this year, but also, contributed so much to the batting as well, as we know, sitting on a 500 average. So look, I would be super surprised if she's not in the top 3, if not number 1, in terms of the MVP Cathcart medalist this year.
This is the 7th inning, the final inning. Port Adelaide need to score at least 5 runs this inning to keep their season alive. Hills are just 3 outs away from a date in the preliminary final. 1 week tonight. Amelia Dolphin.
And it'll be the loser between the other semifinal game that's taking place this Saturday against
West Torrens and Sturt.
Eagles. Yeah, and Sturt. So the loser of that will play the winner of this game.
I do not think that either team wants to play. If this score holds, you don't want to play Hills. They have Georgia Hood going and she's batting. And if Port come back, you don't want to play them either. That game is very important. I would not want to flirt with that double chance.
No, I would be going out on Saturday when these 2 teams play. I will be going out to win that because you don't want to face any of these teams.
That's at 4 p.m. and a spot in the grand final is on the line. And like you said, the loser will play the winner of this game. Dolphin falls behind 1-2. They'll turn over the top of the lineup and face Georgia Hood for the 4th time.
And she's finishing like she started, isn't she, George, now? Oh, gee.
And that, out of nowhere, rides up. And did that hit Dolphin or did that hit her bat?
Well, she's not moving.
She's
you would
not
think
moving.
If it hit her, you would think she would be heading to first. You can have a look at the replay here.
Yeah, got it right at the knob of the bat.
Yeah, the knob, he said, umpire Temerid said, was the knob of the bat. Thank goodness for that.
1-2 count. But not a base runner for Port.
No.
Dolphin, good swing to keep alive.
I was just thinking of Amelia's
Safety.
well-being.
That came in fast.
When you're leading by 5, you can find some extra heat, can't you, when you're pitching? And George has done that.
Dolphin chopped to second, 1 out.
Great start for them. I mean, Port Adelaide, yeah, they are the top of the lineup, but, it's always so important to get that first run.
Yeah, Georgia Hood can feel it. She can see the finish line. But Jess Neves and Gemma Letton, 2 very good batters, combined 0 for 6 today. The top 3 in the lineup, Neves, Letton, and Grauer, 0 for 8 with a walk. In fact, this is up the middle. Hood to first, they're 1 out away.
First pitch.
The first 4 batters in the lineup have yet to get a hit for Port Adelaide. They've got a few walks, but Georgia Hood has shut down the very best that Port Adelaide has to offer. They're 1 out away. What a story for the Hills Heat as Gemma Letton steps in. A program that was only started a few years ago. They had to build a roster, recruit some players, and they're so close to a preliminary final.
And they would have been bottom of the ladder last year or fairly close to it. Pretty sure there was...
They were battling with Seacombe and Glenelg outside the finals.
Yeah. 6th.
So Hills trying to get to their first ever preliminary final. Slips down low. What great work from the organizers up in the Hills. They do a lot for that community. We got to see a round of softball be played up there this season. That was pretty cool. You can feel the great community, and you can feel how important this softball team and community is up there in the Hills.
Oh, you definitely can. Like, there's such a difference in the feel of this team, just in the last 12 months. So whatever changes they've made, and they're obviously got some new coaching structure. They've got a few new players that have come back, or some that have come over. But you know, it's a team that you feel have really gelled well.
Georgia Hood, the Australian national team player, I should say, slides one by her. It's a 3-2 count. One strike away from the preliminary final. Letton stays alive. That heartbeat's still going for Port Adelaide. And for Port Adelaide, what a wild season, such high expectations. They still just haven't been able to find that breakthrough game yet, despite being around the mark for a couple years now, but they're certainly not far off. They'll be around for a while. Letton chops this in the air. La Rosa brings it in, and the Hills Heat are off to a preliminary final.
Yeah, what an exciting finish for them, and what a great game. You know, it was never anybody's until the end, and they hung in there with the highs and the lows and the swaps and the momentum. But you know, they came and were the victors in the end.
How was the spirit, the attitude, the cheering, the drumming, the dancing in the dugout that helped power these women to victory, Lee?
It was fantastic. It was loud, can I say, but it was terrific. It just added atmosphere, didn't it?
Well, Hills win 6-1, a game that was a lot closer than the scoreline suggests. They scored 3 runs in the first 3 innings, but they had so many runners on base. In fact, they left 5 runners on base in the first 2 innings, only scored 1 run, scored 2 in the third to make it 3-0. In those 4th and 5th and 6th inning, Port Adelaide felt like they had a chance. They had bases loaded themselves, down 3-1 in the 6th, and they couldn't score any runs. Georgia Hood shut them down with her 6th and 7th strikeout before she had a bases clearing double herself to make it 6-1. What a difference maker Georgia Hood was in this game.
Yeah, definitely. And look, I'm looking back at you know, the stats from the game as well, and she absolutely sort of dominated in the pitching circle and with her 1 hit there. But some great contributions also. Maddie Rocher with her a couple of hits there. Amber Hood, a couple of walks to get on base, and then a hit from her. Peyton Daniels with the triple. Talia La Rosa, you know, with her RBI hit. So just so many contributors for the game. Alex Mackey, that massive hit out to 7th.
Lee, you said a couple weeks ago when I asked you to describe the Hills, you said 2 words, real deal. They're in a preliminary final, their first one. They're going to play a team that they need to take a big scalp. They're going to have an opportunity to do that in a week's time. Can the Hills beat one of these top 2 teams?
I'm sure they can. Last time they played West Torrens, they stayed with West Torrens for 6 innings, and the score was 1-0. And that was with Steph
and without
pitching.
Georgia Hood.
Without Georgia Hood and with Steph Drzezinski pitching. They won't get any better pitchers to face than her. And if they can stay with them for 6 innings, they can stay with anybody and go on.
Well, promising sign for the Hills, who are through to their first preliminary final. That's where we'll leave you today. Georgia Hood, a big difference maker. The whole Hills team, a spirited effort in a 6-1 elimination final win. We'll be back with the qualifying final on Saturday. Thank you, everybody, wherever you are, wherever you're watching on Spacequake Sports, Softball SA, on Channel 44, on NITV, wherever you're watching around the world. Thanks for joining us. I'm Eric Ballnar on behalf of Kathy Lambert and Lee Hull. Good night from South Australia.